Good morning, everyone. It's Stretford Post. How you're doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn on a slightly later time. Half an hour late, guys. Been extremely busy today. You know what? Finding the latest news out, getting the latest gossip and stuff like that in regards to Manchester United and who we're going to sign, who's going to come through the door, what's going to happen, guys. Thank you, everyone who's joining me today. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're new, it's really good to have you guys here on board here live with me, of course, guys. And let's get straight into it. Of course, Manchester United have had a relatively peaceful week for our standards. United defeating Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium by 2-1 was lovely, of course, but this is just the beginning. Now we got to focus on Tottenham Hotspur, which is the next game, of course, guys, which is on Thursday evening, of course. Then we got Bournemouth on Sunday. So we get 2 wins out of that. Then you can almost say that we're back, isn't it? You can almost say that, here we go. We're a little bit back now. We're a little bit back now. But you know what? We can't wait for it, guys. Can't wait for the next game, because when you win a game, you get that little bit of buzz, you get that little bit of enthusiasm, of course. And that's the one thing about it, and I like it. To be honest. And to be honest with you, just bear me a second, guys. Bear me a second. Let me just get this up. Yeah, so basically, man, I'm going to talk about new players on the block. Man United are interested in new players on the block. Man United have got some different players that we're interested in. Of course, there's going to be some players that, what we've been after for a while, and, I'll be lying to say that I wasn't on the phone today to a journalist, guys, and I was trying to get the latest gossip. I want to get the gossip to you guys as quickly as possible, of course, guys. You know what? The latest in regards to Manchester United. Of course, let's read some of your comments. Big up. Yeah. Big up UK Rap. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good, mate. Hope you're good. Sanjay, good morning, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. How you doing? He mentioned Sony. Come on, UK Rap. Let's not gossip too much. Good morning, all Stretford Post. How you doing? Big up. That's me, of course, guys. Absolutely. And good morning, guys. Kazi, hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Sorry about the lateness in my stream today, but you know what? Life gets in the way, doesn't it? Life gets in the way sometimes. And you know what? We have to get the latest gossip. We have to get the latest news, of course, in regards to Man United. But let's get into it. Let's get into the show, guys. I want to talk about a couple of players that Man United are interested in, that Man United are going after. There is this Greek player, of course, guys. Easy for you to say, but the name of the Greek player is Charalampos Kostoulas. Charalampos Kostoulas is a Greek international forward who's only 17, already played for Greece, and you know what? Looking a real talent. Man United have sent scouts out to watch the Olympiakos forward just recently because he is making waves in Greece, of course, guys. A good young player, 17-year-old, fits the mold, 11 appearances this season, 3 goals, of course. So for his age, he's not doing too bad. Got the physique, he's got the youth, and that is exactly what Manchester United are looking for at the moment. That is what Ineos are looking for. They're looking for this type of profile player, of course, guys. And I think that's how you pronounce it. Charalampos Kostoulas is the player that Man United are interested in, have sent scouts over. And it is well known that they have scouts watching Olympiakos at the moment to see how good this player actually is, of course, guys. That's what they're looking for at the end of the day. So, you know what? Look, another one on the conveyor belt, as I say, the conveyor belt, the old Southsea conveyor belt of players that Man United are interested in. And don't be surprised if this is a really, really busy summer. You know what? We've had a lot of rumors about leaks, about, players not turning up for training, etc., etc. And it was confirmed that the missing of basically Garnacho and Rashford being omitted from the squad, of course, had nothing to do with disciplinary issues, more on the side of not ready, not performing in training, of course, guys. So that is one thing I would say. So let's not jump on these players. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves in regards to thinking we know what's going on with these players. But at the end of the day, you know what? We support our young players, don't we? That's how we do things. Of course, guys, that's how we do things. Another player, of course, everyone knows this player. Of course they do. His name is, of course, Lookman, Ademola Lookman, of course. But the one thing with Ademola Lookman, he is 27 years old. He is a little bit above the age that Ineos are looking for. He is a little bit above that age. He's not old, of course. That would be really hypocritical of me to say he's old, of course, guys. But he is 27 years old. He's from London. He did play in England. I think he played under Everton, didn't he? He did a striker. He would fetch starting price, guys, of 40 million euros, guys. That is the starting price. So the starting price could go up, could be 40. It would be going up to 100. Don't worry about that. It will be going up to literally more than that. But Ademola Lookman has caught the eye of Ineos, who is caught everyone's eye, to be honest. He's been absolutely fantastic for Atalanta this season, as we know. So you know what? I wouldn't mind that transfer. The only stumbling block, of course, is the 27 years old age that he is, of course, in that type of position, which Ineos are not looking for. They're looking for 26 and below. But you know what? Unless it is a very, very highly talented player like Ademola Lookman, who has been on fire this season, even in the Champions League, of course, guys. Even in the Champions League, it's been absolutely brilliant for Manchester United. And Manchester United are not only looking for attacking players, Man United are also looking for a goalkeeper. They're looking for a goalkeeper, and this goalkeeper here, Man United are looking for someone to replace Bayindir. Bayindir looks to be leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. He's looking for first-team football, and this player fits the bill completely. Fits the bill completely, guys. At the end of the day, his name is John Victor. Very, very non-Brazilian name as well, but rest assured, believe you me, he is Brazilian, guys. He is Brazilian. His name is John Victor, mate. John Victor, his name is. 7 million euros he would require, of course, Brazilian, of course. And you know what? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he plays for Botafogo in Brazil. You know what? I mean, he will be understudy to Onana at the moment. But I firmly believe, that Ruben Amorim is not entirely happy with Onana. And this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing little rumors that Ruben Amorim is not entirely happy with Onana. So Man United are looking in the market for a different keeper, a different type of keeper. Onana is not the type of keeper that Ruben Amorim actually favors. But you know what? That remains to be seen. But Man United are in for a goalkeeper, of course, guys, as well. So that is very interesting news coming out of Manchester United today. Few players there, different players, different names, of course, guys, which is absolutely great. Of course, good morning. How you doing, John? I hope you're doing well. Good morning, John. I hope everything is good with you, my friend. I hope everything is cool with you. Guys, listen, don't forget to smash a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe to the video. You know what? It's going to be a busy few months at Manchester United. You're not only on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Ins and outs, you know, and it's basically my way or the highway, Ruben Amorim. If you do not play under Ruben Amorim's system, if you do not give 100%, because Manchester United is not just a job, it's a lifestyle. When you play for Man United, it is a lifestyle and everything has to be taken into account. As Ruben Amorim said, people are losing their jobs whilst you're playing football. At the end of the day, that quote resonated with me. That quote got me. It got me thinking, this is the guy, because he understands Manchester United. He understands what it is to play for this great football club. He understands about the public. He understands about the staff in the club who made this football club, who the DNA of this football club. People are losing their jobs. People with mortgages, people with, you know, families are losing their jobs, you know, on 30 grand a year, whilst we've got players on 325,000 a week, guys, to be honest with you. And it's mad, isn't it, when you think about it, how much jobs you could save with one wage from Marcus Rashford, of course, guys. But it is what it is at the end of the day. And you know what? Man United will be looking forward, of course. And it looks like Ineos have given Ruben Amorim the keys to do what he likes. Basically, if he doesn't want that player, he's allowed to drop that player. And this is where Ineos are on watch. They're on one eye watch, of course, guys. This is where they're on watch. This is where we judge Ineos, when they have to get rid of players, when certain players have to leave the football club. That is when we really judge them, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you know what? They can talk a good game, but, you know, when it comes to removing Rashford, removing certain players from that squad, that is when they're going to be judged, of course, on players on astronomical wages. Now, look, it's been a crazy week in regards to rumours, right? And it's somewhat dampened a fantastic victory against Manchester City at the weekend. A brilliant victory for Manchester United, of course. Pep Guardiola looks like he's losing his marbles. He's got absolutely nutty, of course, guys. Waving at cameras, waving at things, of course, guys. He hasn't been the same, has he? Really? And I think we really put the final nail in the coffin at the weekend on Pep Guardiola. He should be under pressure, but obviously he has bought himself some time because he's won trophies at the football club. So you know what? He's not going to be removed as Manchester City manager. Of course, big up, pal. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you on the stream. Good to see you back, my friend. Yes. So you know what? Look, I'm going on like this transfer window, guys. I've got some big news coming for you for the channel. I've got a fantastic guest coming in, and it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And we're going to be talking everything Manchester United. everything transfers, guys. It's going to happen in particular in the summer. We're going to have some fantastic news coming out of Manchester United, and we're going to be the first to break it here, guys. Just like, obviously, Diego Leon, which we did, of course, which is expected to arrive in 2025, of course, guys, which is great news, of course. But I don't just speak just for the sake of speaking. I don't just read for the sake of reading. I want to find out the nooks and crannies in regards to these rumors. And today I was on the phone to a journalist. I was saying, what's all these rumors about the Greek player? What's all these rumors about Lookman? What's going on about Victor? What's going on about this and that? And you know what? He's going, yeah, Man United have got about 100 players on the transfer wish list that we could be going after. So basically, we're not going to sign 100 players, guys. Let's get that straight away, of course, guys. But Man United have a number of players on that list that, you know what, they will be going after. And if they don't get that one, they got that one. They don't get that one, they got that one. They are prepared. They are prepared for a busy summer, of course, guys. That doesn't rule out January completely. Man United are in the market for a left back, of course, for January. Miguel Gutierrez, as I've been speaking about, is high on Manchester United's list in regards to left back signings. The Girona fullback fits the mold perfectly for Ruben Amorim. If we did sign a Gutierrez, that would mean that one of Malacia or Luke Shaw would have to leave the football club because we have too many fullbacks at the end of the day, too many left backs. Another one is Quenda. Of course, Quenda of Sporting Lisbon is the one I would take from Sporting Lisbon. Very versatile. Left wing back, right wing back. He can play anywhere, guys. He's an absolute diamond for his age, 17 years old. So don't be surprised if at least one player comes from Sporting Lisbon, which it will happen. It is written in the stars that we will get one player from Sporting Lisbon, guys. And I'm all for it at the end of the day because Sporting Lisbon, have been fantastic. They haven't been fantastic recently since, obviously, Ruben Amorim left the club. I feel sorry for him in a way. I do feel sorry for, obviously, Sporting Lisbon in a way. But at the end of the day, you know what? Business is business. Football is football. And you know what? Ruben Amorim was the machine that was keeping Sporting Lisbon going, of course, guys. And you know what? They miss him. And you know what? He's a fantastic manager. And you know what? When we're getting Talk Sport complimenting our manager, Talk Sport have been complimenting Manchester United, of course, guys. My goodness me, I couldn't believe my eyes when I'm seeing Talk Sport talking about Man United in a positive light, saying that he gets it, saying that he's the next man, he knows what he's talking about, he's smart. They're talking about Ruben Amorim, of course. I do believe Ruben Amorim's an extremely smart guy, and I don't think he's going to be messed about. Look, this is Ruben Amorim's chance. Ruben Amorim loved, obviously, staying at Sporting Lisbon. He loves Sporting Lisbon. He is from Benfica, of course. He does love Benfica. He did love Benfica. He played for Benfica. But Sporting Lisbon, as a manager, is where his bread and butter happened. Braga and Sporting Lisbon. And at Sporting Lisbon, it would have took a monumental effort to get him away from Sporting Lisbon, which we did. So he's going to make sure that this does not foul. Man United do not foul. He does not foul this. And he doesn't give me the air of a failure to me. He looks like a winner for me. He looks like a winner. Now, let's go to Tottenham on Thursday and let's do the business, guys, because that is what it's all about. Winning the next game. Consistency is key. We've won the odd game here. We've beaten City before. We've beaten Arsenal and Chelsea. These teams before, Liverpool before. But it's all about consistency. And we have to start winning games, you know what, consistently. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you beat Liverpool. It doesn't matter if you beat Man City. It's no difference between beating Bournemouth and beating Southampton. It's 6 points. And if you don't beat Bournemouth, it makes the Man City result look a little bit dud, doesn't it? At the end of the day, doesn't it, Pearl? So, sporting fans have come on board supporting Man United because they want to follow Amorim. Absolutely. We have a fantastic relationship with Sporting Lisbon, Pearl. Absolutely amazing relationship. It stems back. It goes way back. Of course, with Nani, with Cristiano Ronaldo, with Bruno as well, of course, guys. So we've had a great conveyor belt of players that have come from. Now, Ugarte's come from Sporting Lisbon as well. We have a good relationship with them. And a lot of Sporting Lisbon fans that you speak about love Manchester United. I remember going to Portugal in 2000, right? 2000 and watching Sporting Lisbon, and we were talking about Manchester United way back in 2000, and they said Man United are the best team in England. They're fantastic. Their philosophy, it's not only about the way they win games. At that time, we were winning games, by the way, we were champions. But they will say it's not just about the way they win games, but it's the way they believe in the youth, and they believe youth through, and it's something that Sporting Lisbon believe in. And that has been evident because Sporting Lisbon do bring through great young players. They bring through conveyor belts of young players, of course, every single year. The way they do things things is spot on. The way they scout the Brazilian, the South American market is spot on. And Man United are starting to do that now. You can see Man United with the signing of Diego Leon. You can see that, isn't it? That they've been scouting South America quite intensively. They have Victor, of course, the goalkeeper, you know, from Botafogo, another one they've been scouting quite intensively. Of course, you're going to get people like Lookman. You're going to get people like that, players like that who Man United are interested in because they're playing in the Champions League and absolutely killing it in the Champions League. Of course, he's been brilliant for Atalanta. But at the same time, Man United are looking for something that is a little bit in the price range. You know, so Man United won't want to spend 100 million on one player. They don't want to do that. As Jim Ratcliffe said, he said, I don't want to spend 100 million on a player because we spent $1 billion in the last 10 years and we don't have one 100 million pound player. And that is obviously damning to Manchester United, isn't it? It's not good. I mean, when you're spending $1 billion, you need to have at least a couple of 100 million pound players in your squad. Who is worth 100 million at Man United at the moment? Who can you say with confidence, with your chest out, is worth 100 million at Manchester United at the moment? Who is it, guys? Absolutely, absolutely. But guys, you know what? It is a massive week, of course, and it is a massive month. This month, we got Spurs away. We got Arsenal away again. We got Liverpool away. Within the space of a month, guys, we got those games coming up. And this time next month, we will know a whole lot more. But one thing I urge people and I urge the fans around the world is just to be a little bit more, you know, calm. We're calm. We don't over-celebrate. We don't over-be pessimistic. At the end of the day, we're cautiously excited and cautiously optimistic about the future of Manchester United because at the end of the day, you know what? We beat Manchester City. You know what? Man United are still on trial. This is the thing about it, right? Man United are still on trial. Man United are still on the audition period in regards to Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is implementing training tactics and tactical implementations on the pitch before the game. He's practicing free kicks, corner kicks, things like that before the game because Man United are doing it on the job at the moment. Ruben Amorim has only had 3-4 weeks in the job. So we're still doing it on the job. He's literally on the job working. You know what I mean? Learning as we go. Do you know what I mean? A bit like an apprentice. We're going as we go. We got to do. I ain't got no time. I've got no time to waste. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Make sure this is right. Make sure that is right. The strikers, the corners, the free kicks. This is what made the win against Manchester City so impressive. To me, it made me so happy because at the end of the day, you know what? We're not ready yet. We're not ready. But at the weekend, we were in control of the game. We knew we didn't lose the ball as we were losing in the last 3 weeks. We were losing the ball. We kept control of the game. When it was time to attack, we attacked. No, it wasn't all pretty. It wasn't all roses. It wasn't all lovely. But you know what it was? We got the job done. And Man United should have won that game more comfortably if we didn't have a dodgy refereeing the game, of course, guys. At the end of the day, these referees in England have been sticking by each other non-stop on the media. If you see the English media outlets, they're sticking by each other. They cannot do a thing wrong. They don't admit it. At the end of the day, every single man and his dog knew that was a penalty on Rasmus Højlund. And you know what? I'm going to mention this. And I'm going to mention this because it's easy to turn around when you lose and say, you know what, referee this, referee that. It's easy to do that. But when you win, right? It's easy to forget about those decisions, but I'm not going to forget about those decisions because those are the decisions that can cost teams dearly. They can cost, and it's going to take a monumental effort for the whole of the Premier League to get together, win or lose, to stop these ridiculous decisions and somewhat sinister goings on at the FA, of course, guys, which it is becoming a little bit sinister, isn't it? We're feeling a little bit like this is not right. This is wrong. How did they not get that penalty? How comes they didn't? It took literally like that, a blatant assault in the box for Ahmad to get a penalty. And you know what? One thing for me, he took his time, didn't he? He's like, damn, I'm in a situation here. I cannot not give that penalty. That's going to be too bait. At the end of the day, this is what it is. At the end of the day, they cannot make it too bait. So they had to give the penalty. And it doesn't always work in the favor of these referees, of course. I'm an advocate for bringing referees abroad from all around the world. Bring referees from wherever they come from. Bring them to England. Let's get referees from all around the world to referee in England. Because at the end of the day, football is too cultish here in England. Not here, I'm in the UAE, but in England, football is a cult. It's too cultish. And the thing is, people stick by their beliefs. And look, for example, if Arsenal got a result, right, and they were fortuitous to get a result, for example, for argument's sake, and all the decisions went Arsenal's way, Arsenal, the manager, the players, the fans won't turn around and say, you know what, the referee was dreadful. We were lucky today. They will say, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. They will say that. And that is the problem we're having, because football is a cult. There's football following their cults at the end of the day. And the thing is, if you don't stick together, unify as a collective, regardless if the result goes your way or it doesn't go your way, then you're going to continue getting bad results. You'll continue getting bad decisions, and decisions going not your way when a certain thing has been transferred in someone's bank account, of course, guys. Absolutely. Pearl, Sporting finally got a victory, but over a team at the bottom of the table. 3-2, Goalkeeper's got a goal, but Pal showed a shadow of himself. Absolutely, and this is how important Ruben Amorim is, Pearl. Ruben Amorim, they lost their great manager, of course. It's a bit like when Man United lost Alex Ferguson. We knew what happened to Man United, don't we? You know, we were a shadow of ourselves. At the end of the day, Sporting Lisbon don't have the finances that Man United have. But you know what? They had a gem there in Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim was the engine. They've taken the engine completely out of the Ferrari and replaced it with a Ford Escort Ferrari and a Ford Escort engine, of course, guys. So that is what the problem is. So they're going to take time to get back to where they were. It took Sporting Lisbon years to get back to the top of the tree. It took them years, and Ruben Amorim was that guy who brought them to the top. Ruben Amorim sits on that touchline like this, watching every single detail that Man United players do. He's looking at every mistake. He's looking at every person who's playing well, who's not playing well, who's not putting a tackle in, he's not doing that. He's seeing everything. This is what I love about Ruben Amorim. This is what I love, because he's looking at every single detail. And every time he speaks in the media, I do believe it. There's too many interviews. I believe that. I will say that right now. But every time he speaks on these interviews, he speaks in the media, I'm impressed. I'm in awe. I'm like, wow, yeah, he's absolutely spot on. People are losing their jobs. You know what I mean? And you have to play football. That's it. Do you know what I mean? That is what I loved about that comment right there. I thought, that is the guy. I turned around and I thought, that's the guy. I backed Erik ten Hag. Of course, I backed Erik ten Hag. And I backed every single manager at Manchester United at the end of the day, because it's not my choice to sack a manager. I will give my opinion on a manager, but it doesn't help when we're sacking managers. It brings Man United back. But one thing is, we cannot discount what Erik ten Hag did for Man United, but Ruben Amorim is the next level up, and Ruben Amorim will take us to the next level that we need to go to. I firmly believe that we will go to the promised land again, guys, and we will win 21. Don't worry about that. We will win 21. We're a little bit concerned about, obviously, Liverpool doing their thing this season, of course, but we only got ourselves to blame in regards to that. We can try and beat Liverpool at Anfield. That's what we can do. We can try and take some points off Anfield, and that is going to obviously hamper Liverpool, of course, because we cannot let them equal our Premier League tally, guys. That cannot happen. Not under my watch. Absolutely not, of course. Liza Rami, how you doing? Walaikum salam. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Tonight for far too long, these United-hating refs have been getting away with crap. Absolutely. And now it's starting to become a joke, isn't it, Liza Rami? And you know what? I'm not one. And we've never been ones to blame referees. Believe you me. It used to be like, no, forget the referees. We didn't used to blame referees. But now it's getting a little bit obvious now. It's getting a little bit blatant. Some of the decisions that are not going our way. Oh, by the way, did you see the reason, the VAR reason why they didn't give the Rasmus Højlund penalty? Did you see that? It was like he didn't give enough contact. Scroll back a year when Man City got a penalty at Old Trafford, he touched his arm. It's a penalty. Straight away, he touched his arm. It's a penalty. Do you know what I mean? If that was Haaland in the other end, that's a penalty. Straight away. We all know that. Absolutely. Who will replace Rashford? Now, look, there's a number of players that are on the conveyor belt of Man United transfer targets, of course. One of those players is Victor Osimhen, of course, who's playing at Galatasaray on loan. At Napoli, of course, still, he would request around a 60 million euro transfer fee, of course. There are rumors about his attitude, about the way he conducts himself. He's a little bit arrogant. Things like that have been said. But there are rumors about a number of players at Man United, of course, guys, that Man United do want to add to their squad. But let's not forget about Obi Martin. Let's not forget about these players that have come through the conveyor belt, the young players that we have scouted for weeks and months. They're going to be coming through very soon as well. So we have to look at those players as well. I do feel, however, that Man United do need an experienced striker to complement the young strikers, because young strikers need to learn of somebody. And at the end of the day, I would like an Osimhen. I would like an Osimhen. I would love to have an Osimhen in there. I would like a David in there, of course, guys. I would like a David in there. So a player like that, of course, you know what? Proven goal scorers, of course. I would like that at the end of the day. But at the same time, what we have to understand, we cannot hamper the development of Obi Martin. of course, and that goes with Kone as well, and other players on that conveyor belt. Lasare, of course, in that attacking third as well. We bought through these players. We bought these players from Palace and other clubs around the world because we want these players to be the future of Man United. And you know, Alex Ferguson once said, if you do not give youth a chance, they will stagnate and they will drift away. So we have to remember that at the same time. But that's not to say that Man United are not after a number of players. Ademola Lookman is one that Man United are very, very interested in. They're huge admirers of Ademola Lookman, but who's not an admirer of Ademola Lookman? He's absolutely fantastic at Atalanta, of course, an absolutely diamond at Atalanta, performing in the Champions League, performing in Serie A at his age. I mean, he's 27. Is it too old for Ineos? Is it too old for Ineos? But Ademola Lookman is another one, of course, guys. Big up Al Mac. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the stream. I hope you're good. Liverpool replaced a great Klopp with Arne Slot, and they haven't declined. That's succession planning. Almac, it's exactly what you said there. Succession planning. Man United, when Alex Ferguson left, we did not do any succession planning. We didn't. We just said, okay, this is the right manager. That's the right guy. Bring him in. It's going to be okay. In comes David Moyes, and what happens? He removes all the backroom staff, and it's disarray. It's disarray. And that has resonated from then all the way to now. The way that Jurgen Klopp did it, Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool in a good way. So basically, all Arne Slot had to do was press play. I personally think that Ruben Amorim is a 10 times better manager than Arne Slot. I personally feel that, right? Tactically, everything about Ruben Amorim is better than Arne Slot. I'm looking forward to when Arne Slot loses a Mohamed Salah. I'm looking forward to see how he replaces Mohamed Salah. I'm looking forward to seeing him build his own team. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he hasn't built his own team, is it? He just pressed play. And that's about it at the end of the day. Look, it's easy to say that. I would say that also. It is a double-layered, multi-layered thing, of course. It's not easy just to press play, of course, for some people. He's done a good job, and fair play to him. Fair play to Arne Slot. He's done a good job. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's really been tested. I don't think he's really been tested. And when he has lost to Nottingham Forest, he was fortunate at the weekend to get a 2-2 draw against Fulham. But you know one thing? We've got to go to Anfield next month. We got to go to Anfield next month, and let's hope that we do the business at Anfield, guys, because we owe them one at Anfield, just like we owed Man City one at the Etihad. We owe Liverpool one at Anfield, of course, guys. Like I mean, Sal, do you remember on Sky VAR, heard them saying to just find something so we don't have to give it? Mate, I wouldn't be surprised, lies around me. At the end of the day, we know what's going on with Manchester United. We know that a lot of these pundits, these referees don't like Man United. And at the same time, when I look at these pundits and I look at Gary Neville, I look at Paul Scholes, I look at these kind of people, it's almost like they don't want us to win. You know, and they're meant to be Manchester United legends at the end of the day. And it's almost like they don't want us to win. And that is what is crazy about it. It's like they don't want to ruin their legacy, so to speak. They don't want anyone to accomplish what they accomplished. But it's never going to happen, Gary. It's never going to happen, Paul. I know that Paul Scholes and Gary Neville, they're run by Sky Sports. They're doing watch-alongs. They're copying us at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because their Sky Sports figures, their BT Sports, their TNT Sports are not getting the viewers that they should be getting. So they're making online content, basically a online Sky Sport or online commercial media outlet. That's what they're doing at the moment, at the end of the day. And for me, you know what? Sky, the narrative for Sky is anti-Man United. It's always been anti-Man United. And the thing is that's been going on for decades, right? The anti-Man United thing. Obviously, Martin Tyler was a Liverpool fan. Things like that, the commentators and stuff like that, you know what? And the thing is, what we have to do as Man United fan is just try and switch them off. Switch them off. And we concentrate on the real fans of Man United. And that's what we need to do. Because at the end of the day, they're interested in sensationalist headlines. Just because they used to play football, just because they used to play for Man United, doesn't not mean that they know more than me and you. It doesn't mean that. At the end of the day, that's a total myth. At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we watch football, we consume football on a worldwide basis every single day, studying, looking. If I turned around to Gary Neville and I told him about the Greek player that we're after, he wouldn't have a clue at the end of the day. That is basically what it is at the end. So at the end of the day, look, you know what? We're going to get a lot of, obviously, media scrutiny against us. And that's why I was impressed with TalkSport, right? And I've been a big critic of TalkSport. But you know what? Obviously, they've been speaking highly of Ruben Amorim. They've been speaking highly of Ruben Amorim. And you know what? I'm all here for it. Because they know, they can see a winner in him. They can see that he's not going to accept that. Look, he didn't completely throw players under the bus, Ruben Amorim. He didn't throw Rashford and Garnacho under the bus. He didn't. He just said, look, we have standards. People are losing their jobs and they have to improve and they have to give them all on their football pitch. And that is goodness me, the best quote I've heard in a very long time in regards to a manager at Manchester United. An absolute amazing quote, because it shows you that he's got the empathy for people at Old Trafford who've lost their jobs, of course. People like, obviously, Ashford, who lost his job. Obviously, that Ruben Amram knows. He's just met. They just become acquainted, and he got sacked at Man United at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, look, things do have to improve, of course, guys. Absolutely. GK, how you doing, my friend? Anthony Traitor. That's what it should be. Anthony Traitor. Absolutely. And when Klopp said United get too many penalties, surprise, surprise, United's not getting penalties, blatant penalties being turned away. Man United, I can't remember. I mean, when we got a penalty at the weekend against Man City, it was basically assault, wasn't it? Before we got the penalty. I mean, we should have had 2 penalties, but it was basically assault before we had to give the penalty, because if we didn't get the penalty, Man United are walking off that football pitch because it was a penalty, blatant assault in the box, basically. And we don't get many penalties these days, of course. We don't, because obviously people like Jurgen Klopp. I mean, look, let me tell you something about Liverpool, right? Liverpool get a penalty. Watch Liverpool. Watch how many penalties they get. You see it. Watch how many penalties they get. They get almost a penalty a game. Almost a penalty a game. Man United get a penalty once every couple of months, if we're lucky, to be honest with you. But Liverpool get a penalty once every game, more or less. And you will see it. You'll go through it. Salah, pen. When you look at your phone, you're looking at your phone and you think, what's the scores? Salah, pen. Salah, pen. This pen, that pen. And before that, it was Henderson pen. It was that, It was back then, of course, guys. I read that Maguire's in talks of a new contract extension. He is okay. Shouldn't we get someone better? I agree, Mac. I do agree that, but he might get an extension on his contract, not necessarily a full contract. He might get an 18-month contract. So basically, from January to the end of next season, his contract might last. I personally feel, in my opinion, that Harry Maguire is a fantastic professional, a fantastic pro. I think he's a testament and an inspiration to many young players. It's not just about footballing ability. It's also to do with the way he implements himself. He doesn't go to the media. He doesn't cry about losing the armband. He doesn't cry about being on the bench. But one thing I would say, Matt, is that I agree with, I think we need to move on now in regards to Lindelof, Evans, Maguire. No more sentiments at Manchester United. That's it. We shouldn't be sentimental at Man United. We shouldn't be like that. Because at the end of the day, someone raised a great point yesterday. Is Harry Maguire playing well because he's fishing for a new contract? And then that made me think, really, you know what I mean? Could it be like that again? And the reason I think like that is because, you know what? We've seen that before. We've seen that with these players before. As soon as they get a new contract, down tool. I got my contract, 4 more years, done, dusted. I'm done. Absolutely. And that's the thing. So, look, as much as I admire Harry Maguire and I respect him because the way he's implementing himself, and you know what? He's a role model. I think we do need to move on from players like Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, and Evans, of course, guys. I really do think we need to move on from that and move on to the future. What's new at the end of the day? What's new? We got, obviously, Euro, we got Leach up, we got De Ligt in there, right? That would mean that Man United would have to sign 1 or 2 more defenders, centre-backs, because we're going to be playing 3 at the back, so we're going to have to buy another 2. Look, we have some good youngsters on the bench. We have Kalungi, of course, who's coming through, 16-year-old, good player. I would rather give these players more time, some 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, you know what, than bringing through older players. Look, they wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't surprise me if Man United keep Maguire and get rid of Lindelof and Evans. It wouldn't surprise me. I think they might offer Maguire an extension on his contract, and then obviously we'll get 1 more defender in there, or a young player like Kalungi in there, of course, guys, which 16, he looks about 25. He's an absolute animal. And the thing is that, you know what, we can't just throw everyone in the bin. This is the problem. It's going to have to be a gradual thing, a slow thing. You know, we do need better. Of course we do need better. Of course we do. I was very impressed with Harry Maguire at the weekend, by the way, but he is 30. And the problem is now he's starting to become injury prone. That is what's worrying me. He's starting to become a little bit injury prone. He's starting to miss a few games here and there now. So that is a concern, because we cannot be giving new contracts to players who are starting to get injury prone in their 30s, because we all know where that ends up, don't we? It's going to be difficult to get rid of them, of course. Goals for George. Lookman just won the African Football of the Year 2024 last night. Osman won the same title last year too. These are elite players, but we shouldn't pay too much for them. Goals for George, you're absolutely right, mate. These are elite players, and we shouldn't be paying too much for them at the end of the day. Because I remember when Lookman was at Everton, you know what I mean? And you know what? No one would have thought that he would reach the heights that he reached, of course. He ended up not working in the Premier League, of course, guys. He is English. He's born in England and stuff like that, playing for Nigeria, of course. I mean, England missed that trick again. Another one that they've let slip through their fingers, of course, guys, like Musiala, of course, guys. But you know what? Well played, Lookman. He's been absolutely fantastic. One of the players of the season this season, worldwide. Of course, not only in Africa. He's been an absolute professional, a brilliant player in the Champions League and beyond, of course, guys. Absolutely. Liza Rami, I hate that on Maguire. I did hate on Maguire, but he has kept quiet in the media. Maguire is good in the free, like he played in Leicester, a good squad player. I think he is, Liza Rami. I think he is a good squad player. And the thing is, you know what? You can benefit from players like that in the squad. You can. And at the end of the day, look, we're going to get rid of Evans. We're going to get rid of Lindelof. It does look that way, you know, and we're going to get rid of a number of experienced players. What's the harm in keeping a Maguire for a few more months? For 18 months, we keep Maguire and keep him in the team, you know, and just for his experience alone. Because at the end of the day, we're going to have Leacher, we're going to have De Ligt, and we're going to have Euro with the first centre-backs, of course, guys, going forward. So what we have to understand is that, you know what, Man United need to bring in another defender. We lose Lindelof, we lose Evans. We need to be in one or two defenders. I think we need to be in one defender in a transfer and bring in a young player like a Kulungi. That kind of, obviously, I'm a big fan of Rice Bennett as well. Rice Bennett, I'm very impressed with Rice Bennett. Obviously, his injury record has been an issue, but he's calm on the ball. He's, you know what, he's young and, you know, he's got a great future ahead of him. There's a number of players there that are looking good. Harry Amas, Murray, they're looking good, of course. And we cannot forget about the young players as well. So keeping the older players, obviously, is going to hamper the development of some of our younger players. And you know what? We should think about that, always think about that, of course, guys. But I do believe we should keep one of them. I do believe it should be Harry Maguire. I think so. Guys, look, at the end of the day, look, I'm all for, like, you know, we get rid of him. That's it. But to be honest with you, Harry Maguire has really impressed me this season. But if we got rid of him, I would say fair enough. That's fine. It's a good thing because we can move on to a next player, of course, guys. But Harry Maguire, just his personality and the way he conducts himself, his professionalism is spot on, guys. I'm sorry, but he's absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. I think he's been brilliant for Man United, of course, guys, over the last, especially this last year or so. Only 27 watching, only 98 likes. Run the likes up, please, and press the subscribe button. Thank you very much, KZ Mia. That's not too bad. 27 watching, of course. I was late today, of course. 33 watching now, of course, guys. Come on, guys, please press the like button. Very important you do that for the algorithms and stuff like that. Big up everyone who's joined me today, of course, guys, in the chat. Of course, Almac, I feel we shouldn't have given Luke Shaw, Bruno, and Rashford the contract. Most of the extension haven't worked out. Almac, look, my brother, you speak like me, mate. I'm absolutely the same. Look, as much as we love Bruno, as much as we like Luke Shaw, as much as there is, believe it or not, a Rashford FC, we shouldn't be giving these players new contracts. It's an absolute big mistake, but it is an example of how we've been run over the last few years by this inept, incompetent board, right? Giving Rashford 325,000 a week is a recipe for disaster. Giving him a new contract. Giving Bruno a new contract is a recipe for disaster. Contracts should be given them based on your performances and your achievements. At Manchester United in particular, you shouldn't be rewarded a new contract because you played well a couple of games against Barnsley and whoever you played against. Your contract should be rewarded based on your achievements at Man United, and that's how it used to be. Nowadays, we're giving them out like candy. That's how we're doing with contracts. And Man United need to stop going down that road, you know, give him a new contract. We want to keep Bruno, so let's give him a new contract. Let's give him 300,000 a week. Look, I love Bruno. At the end of the day, listen, I worked with Bruno's brother for 2.5 years. For 2.5 years, I worked in the same hospital, the same ward as Bruno's brother. And at the end of the day, I got big respect for Bruno because I know he's a family man. I know his family and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, one thing we would say is that there's no room for sentiments. There's no room for sentiments. We have to ask ourselves the question this, right? We have to ask ourselves, is Bruno the guy to take us to where we want to go, which is challenging for the league? Do you guys think that Bruno can take us to the league title as captain? I want to know your opinions because I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But personally, in my opinion, I don't think he's the right guy to take us to a Champions League, to a Premier League title challenge. I just feel like that. I feel like he goes missing when the going gets tough a little bit. He goes missing. He hides a little bit. And that is a little bit of an issue. When the going is going well, he's brilliant. You know what I mean? He's brilliant. He's there. You know what I mean? Involved. But when the going gets tough, he does seem to like fold a little bit, which is a little bit concerning in my opinion. It is a little bit worrying. Big up, TG. Azim, how you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Bruno's brother works in England. Yes, TG, he works in England. I worked with him for 2.5 years. He works in Surrey, TG. And yes, he does. He does work in Surrey, my friend. Trattles, how you doing, Trattles? Hope you're doing well. Sell Harry or extend his contract. It's a tough one, Trattles. For me, I'm going to say it wholeheartedly. Look, you know what? There is rumours that they're going to give Harry Maguire a new contract, but the contract only lasts 18 months from the January all the way to the end of next season. So it'd be about 18 months here or there, give or take. But what I would say is this, right? I do believe we should move on, in my opinion. But if we do decide to keep Harry Maguire, he's been brilliant, Harry Maguire. And I admit, right? He's been brilliant the last year or so. He's been conducting himself professionally, and he's been a great example to the younger players. But at the same time, we have to look at things from a multi-layered way and think, you know what? We have to move on, don't we? We have to get some young players. But this, and then I'll turn it around and say, but we're going to get rid of Lindelof. We're going to get rid of Evans. If we get rid of Evans and Lindelof, is it really risky to bring in like a younger player, you know, or, you know, rather than having an experienced head there? And that is the key. Of course, Ruben Amorim's got the decision to make. He did praise Harry Maguire about the back three. He says he plays perfectly in the back three, of course. And you know what? Harry Maguire, I mean, he implements himself completely fantastically. Well, he lost a captain's armband. Of course, he goes dropped from the team. Most players would have folded. Most players would have thought, this is out of order. This is not fair. He didn't. He just got on with it, kept his head down and carried on playing. Now, whatever happens, whether Harry Maguire is given a new contract or he's left the football club, I wish him the very, very best. At the end of the day, Lindelof is leaving. Evans looks like he's leaving. So, you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to keeping Harry Maguire for 18 months. That's what I wouldn't be opposed for. But obviously, we do need to think about the future. We've got Kalungi coming through, of course. He's only 16, but we've got him coming through. Harry Amas is coming through as well. Of course, Murray is coming through as well. So we have to think about the youth team as well, the youth players that are coming through. Rice Bennett, of course, players in the youth team are doing fantastically well. I do feel, however, if we lost Lindelof and Evans, we will bring in another defender. I think Man United will bring in another defender. I think they will bring in someone a little bit more experienced in regards to that, absolutely. Yes, for the right type of players like Portuguese team. Absolutely, Kazi. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. It's got to be age for me. 32 next year. That's the thing, Chattels. That is the thing. You absolutely make a good point, mate. And this is what I said at the top of the show. Ineos are looking for 26 and below. They're looking for 26 and below. So it's going to be very difficult for Harry Maguire to stay at Man United because Man United are acting very, very ruthlessly. And you know they are. You know, Man United have been incredibly ruthless, especially with making people redundant and stuff like that. They're not going to feel sorry for any player, you know what I mean, coming through. They're not going to be sorry. They're not going to feel sorry for them. And you know what? It's going to be difficult for certain players to stay, especially if you know what, we don't do anything this season. Obviously, Ineos have purchased this club. They spent a lot of money on this football club already, and they're going to want this to work. Their vanity project, whatever you want to call it, they want this to work, of course, guys. They want to be the guys who took Man United back to where they are, where they should be, of course, which is top of the pile, top of the tree again, of course. TG, if Harry Maguire accepts a pay cut, would you be okay with that? Mate, I'll be okay with Harry Maguire staying, TG. I'll be okay with Harry Maguire staying because personally, I think that Harry Maguire has been an absolute role model. The way he's conducted himself, kept himself fit, kept out of media, trouble, of course, lost the captain's armband, never moaned about it, carried on. Look, we're going to lose Lindelof and Evans. That is a given. Probably lose Luke Shaw and Malacia. It probably looks that way. Man United are going to have about 7-8 players leaving this football club. Rashford is going to leave the football club. There's so many players are going to be leaving this football club. So, you know what? Maybe we should keep one. You know, maybe we should keep one or two. You know what I mean? Or keep Harry Maguire, keep the experience in there. Maybe that's a good idea, rather than just completely overhauling the whole thing. You know, Harry Maguire would be a great squad player. You know what I mean? It'd be a great squad player. He would be a great squad player. But I do believe that we need more defenders. I do believe that Man United need to obviously bring in someone else. You know what I mean? Bring in another player, of course, guys, in defense, of course. Absolutely, absolutely. But it is obviously interesting to go to see. Obviously, there's a lot of things that could happen over the next few months, year or so. I guarantee you that this time next year, Man United will be a completely different. The team will be completely different. We will be completely another place in the league. We'll probably be way up there in the league, challenging for the title. Well, I hope so, guys. I hope that Man United will be up there. I hope Man United be challenged for the league. I hope so. At the end of the day, you know, and to be honest with you, I'm hearing positive noises coming out of Old Trafford. I'm hearing noises about players, young players that are coming to Man United, and it excites me. The future is bright. We're signing the best young players now, and this is the only way we're going forward with players that are over 30. That, you know what, they're going to be surplus to requirements. Not every player is going to leave. Bruno not going to leave Man United. Absolutely not. Just signed a new contract. Not going to leave Man United in his 30s. Not going to leave Man United. You know, Casemiro may leave Man United. Players like Eriksen will leave Man United. Casemiro, Lindelof will leave Man United. Evans will leave Man United. Luke Shaw is on a tightrope and he should be leaving Man United in all honesty. But who's going to buy Luke Shaw? This is the issue, isn't it? Who's going to be crazy enough to buy Luke Shaw? Answers on a postcard, guys. Who would be crazy enough to purchase Luke Shaw from us? You have to be absolutely cuckoo, isn't it, to Virgin? Well, hey, of course, guys. I want Luke Shaw. Well, hey, of course, guys, absolutely. Your passion and a sub. Love you, your content. Love you too, Trattles. Thank you so much for your sub. You're absolute legends. I just love the football club and I love the community. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. That's what I say. And you know what? You know, this channel will be growing because of you guys who've been supporting the channel from the beginning. And this is our channel. This is our community. We're together. No one's better than anyone else. And this is how we do on this channel, of course, guys. And we've got great plans for the channel. Thank you, Trattles, for your sub. And thank you for coming to the show today, of course, and giving your very, very good and educated opinion, of course, guys. Love it, man. Love it. No one cares about buying Mount Shaw, even Maguire, let's be honest. Maguire's contract's running out. So, you know what? That would be a good free transfer for someone, wouldn't it? Harry Maguire. I mean, if I was like a Southampton or a team like that, an Everton, for example, I would go after Harry Maguire if I was them, because obviously it's experience and stuff like that. I would go after them, of course, guys. Mason Mount, in other words, get rid of Mason Mount by hook or by crook. I don't know why we purchased Mason Mount in the first place. His injury record is not good, guys. I mean, literally, he was on the pitch for how long? 5 minutes against Man City, and then he's on the floor. We're like, what? And that makes me even more impressed about the result at the weekend, because at the result at the weekend, we had to reshuffle the team, didn't we? We had to bring Mainu in, and then we had to move Bruno into midfield. It was complete. Move Bruno as an attacker, Mainu into midfield. It made it even more impressive that Man United won that game at the weekend, because you know what? We had adversity. Let's not forget, a lot of adversity at the weekend. We had the referee. We were at the Etihad. You know, Ruben Amram's a new manager. We had injury in the first 5 minutes, and then we had to change the whole squad. You know what I mean? We had penalty decisions and stuff like that that didn't go our way. You know, and at the end, we still won the game. This is what excites me the most. This is what gave me, you know, enthusiasm and positivity in regards to that. Absolutely. Injury record is crazy. Yeah, Mason Mount's injury record is crazy. Absolutely crazy. And he did have an operation. Of course, he had I think it was a pelvis injury. And notoriously, a pelvis injury does create knock-on injuries. So when you have a pelvis injury, the medication that you take does cause other injuries going forward. It is a career-ending injury, the pelvis injury, guys. It is a career-ending injury. So he's relatively lucky that he's still playing football. But one thing we will say is that how incompetent were Manchester United in signing Mason Mount? How incompetent were they spending 50 million on Mason Mount? How crazy were they spending that much money on him? Absolutely incompetence. Incompetence of the highest order, guys. The highest order. Mad, isn't it, at the end of the day? The player we could have got for 50 million. Imagine the players we could have got for that. It's bad, isn't it, at the end of the day? Oh my God, no one talks about the disgrace of having him a number 7 shirt approved. Exactly. I mean, I've been speaking about it on this channel from the beginning, because I go back. I'm the 90s guy. I go back from obviously Beckham, Ronaldo, you know what I mean? Obviously, George Best, of course, Eric Cantona. You know, I go back to those days of the number 7 shirt. I felt giving him the number 7 shirt put an extra bit of pressure on Mason Mount that he didn't need, really. The number 7 shirt is iconic at Man United. Some people say it's lost its value. It probably has over the last 10 years, because obviously we had Memphis with a number 7 shirt, didn't we? Di Maria has a number 7 shirt as well. So it has a little bit. But that number 7 shirt for me is still iconic. So to give Mason Mount that number 7 shirt, the likes of Cantona, Beckham, Ronaldo, you know what I mean? George Best, Brian, I mean, at the end of the day, look, you look at it and you think, wow, you know, we're devaluing our history, our heritage, you know, by giving him that. They just wanted to sell shirts. They just wanted a quick buck. That's how, at the time, that is what Glazers wanted. They wanted a quick buck. They just wanted a quick sell. That's what they wanted at the end of the day, you know. TG, Anthony or right wing back for now? I think Mazraoui there, my friend. Mazraoui there. I put Anthony left wing back. He likes the left, doesn't he? At the end of the day, for now, I would do that. I'd rather him than Dalot, because I think Dalot's been atrocious this season, to be honest with you guys. I don't want to say anything too demeaning to Dalot, but I just don't think that he's a good wing back. I really don't, guys. I'm sorry, but I just don't think he's positionally astute. I don't think he tracks back quick enough. If you watch the game against Man City, he was jogging back sometimes, and I was a little bit concerned about that, in my opinion. A little bit worried about that. You know, I think we do need a better left wing back. We need a better right wing back. I mean, ideally, in an ideal world, Alphonso Davies and Frimpong would be absolutely perfect. Obviously, they are Manchester United's wish list, but obviously we probably got about 150 players on that wish list. We're not going to get all the players at the end of the day. And we're not going to be spending astronomical money on wages, because obviously Alphonso Davies is a free transfer at the end of the season. Another little bit of story, guys. Florian Wirtz. Of course, Florian Wirtz has signed a new contract with Bayer Leverkusen, guys. So you know what? That looks like it's not going to happen. Florian Wirtz is one of the most talented players in Europe at the moment, of course, guys. Brilliant player, of course, German international. He looks like he'll be staying in Germany for the foreseeable future, of course, guys. So he does look like he's out the window. He signed a new contract. Alphonso Davies has not signed a new contract at Bayern Munich, so he's still on a route to becoming a free agent in the summer. So Real Madrid are very interested in Alphonso Davies, of course. Obviously, Real Madrid are Real Madrid. He's going to be interested in Real Madrid. But Man United have Ineos there. No, well, they have Omar Barada and they have Wilcox there. We spent a lot of money on these guys because they are the kings at negotiating, especially Omar Barada, the king at negotiating. He's brilliant at negotiating. So obviously, we got those guys there who can try and twang Alphonso Davies a little bit, of course. TG. Rumors Real Madrid offered 30 million for Dalot. I would accept 20 million TG, to be honest with you. But I think that is just a rumor. And I'll tell you why I think that's just a rumor. Because I don't think Real Madrid want Dalot. I don't think he's good enough for Real Madrid. And I think they've got really good fullbacks at the moment. I don't think he's good enough. I think what's happening here is that Dalot's PR team are working overtime. So when basically someone says Real Madrid want Dalot, it makes Dalot look more obviously valuable than he actually is, doesn't it? It makes him look like, you know what, he's actually worth money. Real Madrid want him. Real Madrid want him. So why, you know what I mean? You know, we should keep him, really, isn't it? That Real Madrid want him. I would take, even if it was true, I would take 30 million for Dalot. I'll snap your hand off. Absolutely, I would. I would love that. If it happens, is another story. I'll probably shave off my hair if he went to Real Madrid. I'll shave off my hair if Dalot goes to Real Madrid. Absolutely. Of course, guys. I would, absolutely. But you know what? Anything is possible in football. Anything is possible in football, including shaving off my hair. But anything is possible in football. You know what? You don't know what's going to happen next. Lenny Yoro was wanted by Real Madrid, right? And Man United got Lenny Yoro. And that obviously was a great coup for Man United, a great victory for Man United, because he's one of, you can see when Lenny Yoro comes on the pitch, like he did against Manchester City, you can see he's composed. You can see he's well above his years, you know, and you can see he's quick. He's a modern centre-back, of course, guys. You clip that, or what, clip my hair, or clip the video. Definitely going to clip my hair if it's true, of course, guys. But big up, TG. Yeah, guys, you can clip the video. You can upload it as well. Do what you like with it. Absolutely. Support the channel. Thank you, everyone, of course, guys. Yeah, at the end of the day, look, you know what? I like Dalot. I do. But I do think he's a little bit of a passion merchant. I feel that way. I spoke to people high up. I know a lot of people at AC Milan. Of course, I've been to obviously worked with the youth team at AC Milan. I mean, obviously, they got a great Liberali, Kamada coming through their ranks. They got AC Milan have got a conveyor belt of young players coming through, and Man United should really look at that. They have got great players coming through, and you will see a different AC Milan in a few years because they got great conveyor belt of young players coming through, by the way. But one thing I would say is that, you know what, AC Milan spoke about Dalot. They spoke about him when he went on loan to AC Milan. And to be honest with you, they weren't too impressed with Diego Dalot. They weren't too impressed with him. They said that, you know what, he's a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic, and positionally not good. And he did play free at the back. And positionally not good. So, you know what, he was younger then. And Dalot is still young. I think he's 24, isn't he? He's still young. At the end of the day, he is still young. He can improve. But when you're looking at players now, like 24, 25, I'm looking at my player to be at their peak at that age. I'm looking at them to be, you know what, relatively at their peak. And you know what, I hope that Dalot reaches the levels that, you know, I did when he signed. I know, I mean, of course, Dalot's implementation and his professionalism is perfect. 100%. Cristiano Ronaldo said that, didn't he? He said that about Diego Dalot, that Diego Dalot's personality and his dedication to Manchester United is spot on. And do you know what? That is a great thing. And obviously he can be an inspiration to other players, but also there comes a point when you have to look at talent as well. Talent is very important, right? I tend to look at things in context, right? People talk about, for example, Bruno. Let's talk about Bruno. People talk about Bruno and they say, oh, but Bruno plays well for Portugal. Look at the context of this, right? Bruno plays well against the likes of Belarus and Luxembourg and you know what, Estonia and San Marino and teams like that. But when he gets into the latter stages of, like, for example, Euros or World Cup, he goes missing, right? He goes missing. Let's be honest. It's a bit like Man United. So, you know, at the end of the day, we can play the likes of Barnsley and we can play the likes of Shrewsbury and Fleetwood Town and, you know, these type of teams, and we'll smash them up. Bruno will look good, won't he? But at the end of the day, you know what? You're ultimately measured on the big games. The big games. Of course, guys. And with Dalot, I feel like he's just missing something. There's something there that is missing for me. There's something there that isn't quite there, that isn't quite clicking. I don't know whether it's, you know, it's just not quite sharp. He's not the sharpest tool in the toolbox. But he is a hard-working player and an inspiration to the younger players in regards to training the best and doing the best and getting the best out of your ability, of course, guys. How are you doing, Gladiator King? Good to see you, mate. Evan Ferguson just became silent this season. There was also rumours, Gladiator, about Evan Ferguson coming in January, wasn't there? On loan, wasn't there? That's gone quiet. Look, at the end of the day, with young players, and people need to, like, you know what, in regards to Evan Ferguson, a very, very talented player, guys. But he needed guidance. He needs guidance. And if he was under Alex Ferguson, he's the type of player Alex Ferguson would love, by the way, because of his work ethic. And he reminded me a little bit of a young Rooney. I'm not putting pressure on him that he is Wayne Rooney, but he reminded me of that a little bit. And he is a good player, but I think he's under the wrong guidance. I know that Brighton are good at what they do. They're good at what they do. But I just feel like he's been totally neglected this season, so to speak, in regards to that. And I think that he's got a bundle of talent. I think that he can improve. It's becoming a little bit like Ross Barkley, isn't it? You know, Ross Barkley burst onto the scene. Ross Barkley was this, Ross Barkley was that. Ross Barkley played for England, etc. And then obviously faded away. Hopefully that doesn't happen with Evan Ferguson. Look, on loan at Man United in January, that was the rumour, of course. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Man United will get Evan Ferguson. But, you know, I wish him the best. You know, he was worth 70 million a year ago, wasn't he? Talk about a 70 million transfer fee to Man United. I don't think it's going to happen now. But you know what? I admire the player, and I think he's going to come back. I think if Man United was smart, you know what I mean? Man United, maybe get him on loan. Maybe do that. Maybe see how it goes. You know what I mean? He might burst onto the scene. He might do bits for Man United, you know, playing in that number 10 role behind the striker. He might do well. You never know, of course, but great player. Good morning, Uchichi. How you doing again? The legend that is Gloria Uchichi. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good looking, real good on black. Thank you, Uchichi. Your compliments mean a lot to me. Thank you very much. My God, you can't turn mutton into lamb, but it is what it is. Thank you very much, Gloria, for your compliments. My friend, you are absolute diamond. Absolutely. I can't see you, so I can't compliment. I don't know what you look like, but I can't compliment. But I will compliment you back spiritually, of course, guys. Absolutely. I'll compliment you back spiritually. Guys, you know what? I want to thank everyone for joining me today. The new guys in the chat, of course. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you, everyone who's joined me today. I've got great plans for this channel, of course, guys. And you know what? I cannot do it without you guys. You guys are the life and the life of the channel, guys. The life of the day. This is our channel at the end of the day. Thank you, everyone who's joined me today. And you know what? Just a couple of days to the Tottenham game. You know, and there's no rest for the wicked, is there? No rest for the wicked going forward. Man United against Tottenham. The next game, we win against Tottenham. You can see this community getting a little bit giddy, isn't it? You can see us getting a little bit excited, a little bit overzealous, of course, guys. You can imagine it. If we beat Tottenham and we go and beat Bournemouth, you can imagine how this community is going to be, isn't it? You can imagine we're going to be very, very excited, of course, guys. Absolutely. Do you think Chido will be charged? Yes, I do, Gladiator. I think he'll be in the squad next season. I do. I think Man United got these players and they intend to use them. I think Obi Martin is an extremely talented player, scoring goals for fun in the youth team, an absolute unit. Not only him, you've got Kalungi as well, players like that who are absolutely brilliant. Kone as well wants to be fast track. Ineos want to fast track Kone into the first team squad as well. Obviously, there's lots of excitement about Man United in regards to the future. Lasari, people getting the him from Crystal Palace, of course. Him as well. You know, there's lots of excitement around Man United, of course. And the place to be is Man United. Trust me, guys. I know it doesn't seem like right now. I know it doesn't. But trust me this. The place to be is Manchester United right now. The future is Manchester United right now. The future is red, guys. You know, the future is red. Man City are on a decline. Man City are in cuckoo land at the moment with their manager. Their manager, I don't know whether he needs a straitjacket or what, because at the end of the day, he looks like he's losing his marbles, my friends. Spiritually, yes, Chichi. Thank you. You're looking great spiritually because I can't see you, obviously. Obviously, like goals to George. United is too big a club to take underwhelming prospects on loan. Ferguson should be going to Southampton to get him going. That's a good point, George. That's a good point. I would like to see him play football because I rate him highly. Goals to George. I think he's a great player. Got all the attributes. He's got the strength. He's got the skill. He's got the pace. I mean, last season it was an absolute gem, wasn't he? I would like to see more of him. I would like to see him in the Premier League. I would like to see him playing more football, of course. I mean, he just reminds me of us, like Barkley, someone like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I've seen players like that, highly ranked. You know, of course, these players highly sought after, Barkley and stuff, playing for England and stuff, and then just decline, isn't it? And that's the issue, isn't it? With some players, you know, they don't reach the levels that they should be reaching, of course, and that's a shame. You know, under Alex Ferguson, I think Alex Ferguson would have loved Evan Ferguson. He probably would have already been a Man United player, to be honest with you, if Ferguson was still in charge. Butterfly effect and all that. We never know what's going to happen. We don't know. Obviously, we're just speculating at the end of the day. But guys, I will be back at 2 p.m. UK time for the Chatterbox, of course, guys. Chatterbox at 2 p.m. Please don't forget to join me for that. Of course, guys, all you new people, please, guys, don't forget to join me for Chatterbox. It's a great show. We go through all topics and stuff like that about football and everything else, guys. It's a fantastic community here. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. You're absolutely legend. I was slightly late today, half an hour late. Usually it's 7 a.m. UK time. I am in the Middle East, guys. I'm in the UAE, of course. So that's why it's so early. What's going on? Joy of the chat. What's going on, my friend? KDB, after 250 games for Man City, 136 goal contributions. Bruno, after 250 games, has 156 goal contributions, and Bruno is still bad. When Bruno is replaced, it's a match that gets worse. This is the problem, Joy. And Joy, you make some good points. And as I said, you know what? We can look at this in a multi-layered point of view. We could stat pad. He has scored a lot of penalties, of course, Bruno. But what we can say is that Bruno is a model professional. Bruno's a good player. But in regards to looking forward, he's in his 30s now. So are we going to keep Bruno for another 5 years, or are we going to look to replace Bruno? You know, should we be looking to the future now, Joy? Should we be looking like that? You know what? Bruno's been probably the top two signings since Sir Alex Ferguson left Man United. He has, let's be honest, you know. And you quite rightly say, Joy, you quite rightly say that when Bruno doesn't play, no one steps up. And I agree. And I said this last week. If the players do not step up, we cannot drop Bruno. Because if the players are not stepping up and doing something similar, then we can't drop Bruno, of course, guys. But one thing I would say, in my opinion, is that we have to look to the future as well. We have to start looking to the future and think about, you know what, who's the next one to play that role, you know, the leader role in regards to the attacking sense. You know, is Bruno good enough to get us a league title? De Bruyne has proven it. He is. De Bruyne has proven that he can make Man City champions. Is he the correct player? You can have goals and assists. I can bring you goals and assists from players in all around the world that are better than Bruno and De Bruyne. But the thing is, are they good enough at that elite level to bring Man United to the Champions League latter stages and to the league title challenge? That's one thing I would say. I'll look at things from a non-biased and think in regards to that. As I said, I worked with Bruno's brother. I know the family. And the thing is, you know what? I know that Bruno is difficult. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Man United don't have anyone else. Mason Mount can't even stay on the pitch 5 minutes at the end of the day. The only one I could say with a chest out that is going to be a great, who can take that mantle is Ahmad. Ahmad has been absolutely phenomenal. And I think Ahmad can develop into whatever he wants to be. I think that. And I'm really excited about Ahmad. I'm really excited about the future of Man United, to be honest with you. Big up, Joy. Gold George, Wheatley concerns me as his body language looks like Rashford and has dropped form. I mean, I haven't murdered. Absolutely, I agree, George. I agree, George. Goes to George. One of the footballers, if you're going to think about a footballer's worst enemy, it's themselves. The worst enemy of a footballer is himself. Is his own self, because he is the master of his own destiny. And Wheatley, we haven't heard much from him over the last few months, have we? Why? It's himself. He does it to himself. At the end of the day, I wish the best for Wheatley. Big, huge unit for his age again. But as you said, Goes to George, you know, he does give you Rashford vibes, you know, and we don't want that anymore. We don't want any more ego, guys. We're fed up with that. We want players who give 100% to the cause, guys. 100% plus to the cause. We want players who give 100% to the cause. We can't just bring through anyone, of course, guys. Guys, thank you everyone for joining me. You're absolute diamonds, you legends. I'll see you later on for Chatterbox, 2 p.m. UK time, guys. Don't forget, 3 p.m. Central European time, 6 p.m. Middle Eastern time where I am, guys. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Have a fabulous afternoon. Have a fabulous morning, fabulous evening, wherever you are in the world. You're absolute legends, every single one of you. Take it easy, guys. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. See you later, guys. Peace.